the king and the RC very, very early on, especially the RC there, just trying to use the king as that tank to be able to make it through. But already a very early start here from Kingsman, just trying to take out everything in that compartment with that blimp, and it looks like it's been pretty successful so far. And you can see the Queen obviously making an appearance on that south side, just taking out some bits and pieces with that southern compartment, but she will need to try and deal with some of the defenses of Meteo here. But still though, looking very, very good and heading towards that scatter shot.
Would have been nice to get the Expo as a bonus there. Kingsman very nearly did, because he perfectly popped the Battle Blimp on top of the Inferno Tower. Remember, you do get death damage from the Battle Blimp, so that's absolutely why you want to do that. And the Queen should still have an easy ride here, to be honest with you. It means he just has to be a little bit more ready with his spells due to that Expo. But as she moves forward, he has the jump spell to charge her in towards the Clan Castle, but mainly the Multi-Inferno, because the King and the wall break should be able to just bust into this side. But I am a little bit intrigued here. The single on the Queen, he's got to freeze that, still holding on to the jump.
And the Queen's still alive, managed to be able to survive that last engagement. The Eagle Artillery now is actually focusing on the King here, but still though going towards that compartment with the Town Hall. Queen still able to stay alive here, looking to take out that Inferno Tower, looking to take out that cannon as well. But let's have a look at that 3 o'clock compartment here. The King does use his ability to try and take out everything he can in that compartment. It's going to be very, very tough though. Would he be able to do much with it? It's looking very tough. It's not something he wanted, of course, but the Queen is still alive, and that will mean they need to try and get more value from the Queen.
Very nice adjustments there, because he did want to use the jump into the center of the base. I like the fact that he saved the jump spell though, because after the single went down, which was his plan, he's just adjusted it, because the Royal Champion wouldn't have really been able to get the Town Hall with the Expo and the Tesla. It still means this is a tough adjustment. The Dragon Riders, aiming to sweep through the left, do have to go towards the central multi. However, it's not as bad as when you have a Lava Loon, because they can get through the red air bombs that are often there, as long as there's not much firepower, and mainly it's the enemy Queen, so the headhunters need to be timed well here. Here they come from the left-hand side, trying to get to that enemy Queen. If they... oh, they're stuck on the Barbarian King first, so he's taking a lot of damage, but the central multi does thankfully go down.
15 seconds left though. He's trying to do everything he can, and look at all these traps coming out as well. So the Skellies as well, just going towards that Dragon Rider. Sadly, he will not be getting that free start. I would say though, earlier on with that Town Hall, it was a good recovery, just due to the fact that in terms of expense from the attack, he didn't really use too much in order to try and recover from that Town Hall attack. But either way, though, still 85% 2-star wasn't what they were looking for from Kingsman, and it looks like they will be down by that 1-star in this early war.
I think he had to change the jump spell, because, like I said, the Royal Champion wasn't enough. He would not have wanted to send the Dragon Riders in there, because then they would have been susceptible to the poison. So he was almost forced to do that. And like you said, whilst the Dragon Riders can get to the multi, there's just too much on that back end, particularly the enemy heroes. The Queen really coming in handy for the defense, and that means Tompinai do get off to that early lead. They are looking at alternate attacks, trying to assure they will level themselves in that first position. But again, this could lead MCES into a downward spiral and a really tricky situation.
Yeah, you wouldn't really picture it in a perfect world, would you, in all fairness? But in terms of pictured perfect worlds, we do have a dream start from Tompinai, like you rightly said. It's incredible to say the least how they've been performing so far in terms of a recent form in the last couple of weeks. And you know what? There's just no get-go really with them. It's literally just all gas, no break for Tompinai. So let's see what MCS can do later on. They've still got plenty more time. I know they haven't had the best of starts, but it was could have been a much worse improvisation. It could have been in the 70s, depending on how the Town Hall would have gone down if it went down. But you're right, though. It was a good use of that jump spell. It wasn't really too much expense for him, but it doesn't change the fact that he didn't get that 3-star. So a little bit of a shame, but let's go see the second attacks from both these teams, starting with Chryson from Tompinai. And let's find out what shenanigans he's going to be up to, Judo.
It is the lava loon, which we know they like to do, but actually switching this and using the lightning spells to take out the central area of the base. Now, what this does is it means you don't have to track there, so it can be a little bit more predictable, if you will. Even if there's traps in that area, you don't have to deal with it. But obviously, the enemy queen going down as part of the lightning is huge. It also means when you get to the lava loon stage, Lethal, you don't have to worry about as many spells. Sometimes we watch the attacks, we see a rage dropped here, a freeze, then a haste, and it's a lot to think about. Using the lightning, you don't have to worry about that complexity. So he's going to be just trying to get maximum value with his heroes so that he can use the lava loon, and looking at the spell composition, probably saving majority of them for that.
Look at this though, getting so much value from the king. The ability's already been popped, but we'll be going towards to do as much as he can against that Eagle artillery. But it doesn't matter though, because we've got the RC there anyway, so it's all good. The rocket loon as well coming in from that 4 o'clock side to take down that cannon and anything else there which he can. But the stone slam is going to be like, well, I can take over that for you. That's going to be perfectly fine. As you can see, it's already targeting that stone slam to try and keep it at bay, and it's looking quite tough so far. It's just being kept back by that sweeper, but you can see the Lalo attack now, the bulk of it now coming in from that north side here, and some of the loons have come out from that stone slammer to try its absolute best to take out that compartment. But if it takes out the Inferno Tower, that would be absolutely huge. But the sweeper, not tornado trap, is not going to help it in the slightest. But let's see what happens on this northwest side and see how this attack progresses.
Trying to see what the plan was exactly here, because the sweeper has really just nullified the stone slammer. He hasn't been able to get the multi. Pathing not ideal for his lava loon through the center either. Balloon's going down massively, and this is the defense that MCES needed. This is huge. It's going to definitely be lower than the 85%, I would think. Only marginally, shall we say, but it will be lower, meaning that MCES could leapfrog this. And wow, the balloons really did go down quick in the center of the base there, and I'm still just struggling to see exactly what his plan was, particularly with that sweeper. Maybe he missed the lightnings there or something.
Yeah, because it's a little bit strange. It doesn't make sense for the fact that he pushed him with that stone slammer knowing the sweeper was there, but maybe he planned something in between which he actually thought he'd taken out. Maybe he forgot about it. I'm not really too sure, but either way, he didn't really get any value of that at all from that compartment. Just a couple of bits around Inferno Tower, but the whole point was to take out that Inferno Tower anyway. So you can see there's a couple left after all that, and some other bits on that 8 o'clock side. So not what he originally planned, but you are right though, Judo. Like, I would love to know what his thought process was just coming into that halfway stage of the attack. But it will be 87%. It won't be as bad as the percentile MCES Kingsman, I think, had in that first attack, though. But it does give MCES a little bit of hope to come back in this war.
Yeah, if I'm not jinxing the 3 stars, I'm jinxing the percentage, I guess, because I did not see, for the life of me, him being able to push the percentage from the 74 region, I think it was, right at the way past the 85 based on what was left, but managed to do that, which means even if MCES 3-star, Tompinai still having that slight percentage lead, but I think MCES will be hitting back strong here. They have such incredible talent, and I'll be completely honest with you, Lethal, I am so shocked that they are in the position they are within this league, and I thoroughly expect them to spin this around over the next coming days of the challenge as we see it in the coming weeks. But I mean, they've got to start doing it ultimately, and there's no better time than right now.
Yeah, they could be telling themselves that, but actions speak louder than words. We need to see more of that coming in the ESL Mobile Challenge. I was going to say, look forward to see how Remio or Tryhard actually attacks for MCES, but we do get Remio straight off the bat in this second attack as the Queen's still looking to push into the Town Hall, with the King now from this ability to give the Queen a little bit of leadway. Beautiful stuff so far. The King just wreaking absolute havoc in that 9 o'clock compartment. We'll find that Lava Hound there as well, which does mean that the Queen's got a little bit of a handful here to deal with to try and keep it at bay. But let's just look at the north side as well. Not really too much happening as of yet, but you will see that blimp come in. Almost didn't catch that, to be fair, from that 4 o'clock side. Take down the Eagle Artillery, which he does manage to clean up beautifully there. And here come the Drags, here comes the Loons, here comes the Dragon Riders, and the Warden coming out from that 2 o'clock compartments.
It was actually a beautiful deployment of the blimp to pop it near the air defense so that that went down, and then it was an easier ride to get the Eagle. He's also got this area cut out next to the Dark Elixir storage, you can see, where the dragons would not be drawn down there. They have to go into the middle of the base here, as you see, and that's why he's opted for the heal. There's not a huge amount of high damage defenses, such as a single target Inferno, but the multi can be healed through, meaning that the dragons have now got good health as they hit the back end of the base. The Royal Champion not quite getting the scatter shot, but dragons will move through. That will momentarily go down, and with 1 minute left, time could be an issue here if the dragons don't split properly, because I'm looking at that right-hand area, Lethal. There is a couple of buildings, and he's got to hope he gets over there in time.
Yeah, I was looking to see if he had any more troops available, but he actually doesn't. So I completely agree with you. With the speed, it's just not going to work. 45 seconds left. I kind of feel that he wanted to get more out of the RC there when he went into the south side. I think he literally took about 3 or 4 of the defenses out, and that was literally about it. And that wasn't even including the scatter shot. So I do feel like he could have got more value. Maybe he just assumed that he would do a lot more. But do you know what here? Do you know, with 30 seconds left, if this is the only thing on the left-hand side, then he's going to be perfectly fine.
Whew. That Dragon Rider taking down the defenses was huge, because after the defenses, it will then target normal buildings. So it started doing incredible damage onto the storages. I'm sure Remio can agree that was a little bit scary moving down to the end of that. A little bit too close to call, shall we say. But it is the 3-star for MCES. Ties things up on stars and keeps the percentage very close. I believe it's 2 building advantage to Tompinai.
You are absolutely spot on there. See, your maths is still very good, Judo, so don't you worry. Maybe Remio, right at the very end, he was actually doing a victory lap on purpose to go for those army camps right at the very end. I don't know. But you could, like I said, actually do speak louder than words, and you can see now, only by 1%, like you rightly said, only a couple of buildings actually separating from the two. Considering the start MCES had, they're going to be feeling very relieved coming into these next attacks almost at the halfway stage.
Oh, yes, because when you have a 2-star and then your opponent is smashing in a 3-star to kick off the war, it's so hard to mentally spin that around. I mean, I haven't necessarily played Clash at this level, but I can relate in terms of my competitive days with Judo. If you start off a match and it's not going well and you're behind early on, it's really tough to mentally get over that. But if you can, and you can claw it back really successfully, it does start to give you the edge in a way. So Tompinai really do need to start applying the pressure back onto MCES to make sure they don't start picking it up even further.
Yeah, coming in from behind in any situation and anything in the world, it's very, very tough indeed to keep that mental fortitude going, knowing that you've got to try and keep bigging yourself up, knowing that at some point there's a chance that Tompinai will hopefully make a mistake. Luckily for them, they've made a mistake right from the get-go in that attack earlier on, so it doesn't matter nonetheless. There's already the Queen pushing in down south, already done a huge amount of damage already in that right compartment in the last 45 seconds. We'll be taking down that AD, trying to create the funnel now on that south side. Yes, they will with that King, just making sure the Queen does continue its path towards that town hall. But so far so good here for Tompinai. Let's see if they can keep this up.
Yeah, it is a very nice recognition from Almo Allen that the Queen can reach across to the Town Hall. Interestingly, he has used the Wall Breaker anyway in order to bust her in. Would have been... I thought he was going to maybe walk down towards the Scattershot region there, but with the King, he should be able to finish that off anyway. And he doesn't have anything to get into the center of the base in terms of a Wall Break or a jump spell. We'll have to see exactly what the plan is there, but maybe he's actually just going to allow the Queen to break through the wall. This is a technique we've seen from Tompinai, whereby they recognize if they can thin out either side of the base, the Queen has nowhere to go but choose to punch through the wall, and they save troops or spells in letting her do that.
And now the Queens continue to push on towards the center of the map, but you can see all the Dragon Riders now coming in with the Warden to take out these left-hand side compartments, especially that scanner shot, which would be absolutely huge. But the Eagle Artillery is actually focusing on those Dragon Riders in the center. The Queen continuing to see if it can take out as much as you can from that position, but once again, though, continues to create havoc on that left-hand side. This is a fantastic attack so far, and now using that Rocket Loon as well to take out more of the defenses there from that 2 o'clock side. I only just managed to get a glimpse of that, but the Queen is actually joining almost on cue here to give a helping hand. Was caught in the wall just for a little bit of time, but it's not really going to affect this attack any less than it will do here. Is there's 25 seconds left, just trying to clean up those storages on the left-hand side. Still a fair bit to clean up here, but with 20 seconds left, it looks like it should be okay now. The Queen just trying to give a helping hand from the position she is in, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Only a couple of bases left, though, as I just noticed the defense is actually keeping them distracted. The units have split up only slightly with a few seconds left, but it's going to be okay, Judo. He can rest his heart knowing that he just managed to get that 3 stars with 2 seconds left remaining.
I will say there were 5 minions on the left-hand side on a gold storage. The skelly trap popped, and 4 of them followed the skeletons. 1 stayed on the gold storage, and that was the saving grace for Al-Mualan, who was able to take that down just in the nick of time. Exactly what Tompinai needed. I'm quite surprised how well the Dragon Riders did across that side. I was a little bit worried with that central multi, particularly in terms of pathing, but he managed to deploy them in a way that 2 of them just split perfectly to it. And that's one thing that I mentioned earlier. The central multi-target Infernos, whilst it's key to defend a Lava Loon, it's not really getting the success versus the Dragon Riders as long as you can get some of them to that region.
Absolutely. So it looks like it will be as competitive as ever. Very close to see that, you know, it's already been, you know, the difference between 2 buildings in terms of percentile, but it means MCES now also have to step things up here. As you know, just talking about Tryhard, actually, here comes Tryhard now, the 3rd attack for MCES. We're going to see if we can continue to cushion the blow for MCS to get this 100% 3 star, just to keep us as close as possible against Tompinai. Going to start things with the Queen on that south side to go in towards taking out that AD and that scanner shots here. But we'll need to use a spell just to keep things in check, just in case, just for extra insurance. But we'll see what's going to happen so far with the rest of Tryhard's attack.
He did get the 2-star 89% earlier on today with the Zap Lava Loon method. Actually used the Ice Hounds within that. One of the few players we've seen doing that on a regular basis. But in this one, chooses for the more traditional Lava Loon and the Queen charge. I love the subtlety of the Headhunters. You can see it just to the 6 o'clock area there, sniping off the King alongside the Queen. But as he's doing that, he's also concentrating on the Barbarian King, nicely taking down that multi-target Inferno. Still has the jump, waiting patiently on that, presumably to get the Queen to the multi and also in reach of the Eagle. But it's looking good here, just waiting. Oh, he might actually jump the Queen further up since he's now got the RC coming into the Eagle.
The RC, yeah, literally just about to mention that as well, comes in the server, is going to take out that Eagle artillery. But so far, the Queen has to be a huge distraction here for all these defenses trying to get into the center to make sure to take out that Inferno Tail. That sweeper isn't really going to help the Queen in any way with those healers having to back away every single time. But it looks like the Queen is looking to carry on forward. We'll be able to survive that last engagement. So that was very, very close from the Queen. Even with the sweeper just pushing back those healers, it was still able to survive it. But look at this from the north side. Not only the Loons coming in from the 3 o'clock position, the Stone Slammers coming in to try and take as much of damage as possible. But I can't believe how much of his army is left still, Judo. And still with these Loons coming in from the 11 o'clock side as well, just to wreak even more havoc. Absolute madness.
The queen was perfect there as well because she knew that she had to step out of the way of the single. Now, this is dangerous for Tryhard, actually. Balloons caught in the tornado. They are getting damaged by the poison, but with the Stone Slammer yet to be popped, that will give the guarantee that he can get through the remaining defenses. Still has 2 balloons for cleanup as well, just to assure he does not time fail. Beautiful demonstration of the Queen Charge Lava Loon. You can see the healers in the center of the base. Now, he does have a wizard in his army composition he used earlier, and sometimes what the players will do, Lethal, is actually use a wizard to pull the healers over the area the balloons are about to go to in order to test for traps for the balloons as they move through. Didn't even need to do that because he crushed it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense from what you just said as well. Just make sure, because the healers are just going to be pretty much AFK, aren't they, at that point? So there's literally no point for them. You've got to make some use of them, don't they? And getting those air traps is going to make absolute perfect sense. But I must say, a lot of value from that queen. There was only one instance where she was almost taken down a little bit earlier than necessary, even after she popped her ability and all that bits and pieces. But luckily, just managed to survive as it was distracting at least 4 or 5 different other defenses while the rest of the balloons come in from the 2 o'clock position. And it just looked amazing in terms of calculation there. So very well thought out there from Tryhard. A much better attack compared to last time. And we can see Michael DP from Tompinai here, who needs to probably continue with this 3-star if they want to try and win this war against MCES.
Using the Queen Charge Lava Loon again. Now, I feel this is interesting from Tompinai because we talked about at the start of this war how they did increase their versatility. Now, did he want the Queen in there? Notice the multi-target Infernos on the healers, so he does have to freeze. I'm pretty sure he wanted the Queen to step into that little gap so that he wasn't going to lose the healer's health. He's actually lost quite a bit there. But what I was going to say, Lethal, is now that people know they are versatile, they can still use the Queen Charge Lalo because the bases aren't necessarily baited to it, whereas previously they absolutely were. Now, as I'm saying that, Michael has already lost a healer, a lot of them damaged, so let's hope there's no other Seeking Air Mines over there. I'm surprised, there we go, that he hasn't sent any more loons in since we know there was already 1 Seeking Air Mine in that area.
Yeah, that last Black Bomb trap sadly did take down one of those healers. And yeah, I think you're right in terms of getting that Queen in the gap on the north side, because you could tell straight away that when he realised he couldn't get into that north compound, he had to use a couple of those loons on the 1 o'clock side just to take up one of the structures, just to make sure the Queen did go into the north side. So I do completely agree with that. And a little bit more investment was required, but the main thing is he was able to get that in. But hopefully that won't cost him in the long run here, as he's continuing to use that RC now to try and take out that Inferno Tower in the center. But the Queen just trying to stay as long as possible, but the Queen does get taken down. The healers will go down with it, but the main thing is the bulk portion of this attack now with the Lava Hound distracting the AD. The loons are coming in to try and take down that town hall as well. Of course, the sweeper will be a bit of a pain in the backside. He realizes that he'll be freezing that so that he can get these loons into the town hall. I wouldn't say it's desperation, but I think it's just a good time to use this spell in order to push these loons up, and now the Stone Slammer going straight towards that multi-inferno.
Oh, he's took a lot of damage from that Giga Bomb and the poison. It's not going to be enough here. Sometimes even when your heroes don't quite get everything you want, but they pretty much get majority of it, if that makes sense, you can still get the job done. But unfortunately, the Queen going down earlier on just meant she didn't get as much of the core, and that sweeper, like you mentioned, whilst he froze it, it kept pushing the balloons back. So even though they got through the town hall, they couldn't get out of the poison because the sweeper kept pushing them into it. A beautiful defense, and that means MCES find themselves quite a bit in the lead now.
Yeah, they are. They can be very happy about that. I don't think they expected that from them in terms of actually being able to, recover. I think they assumed they were going to make a recovery, but you can see the tiny mistakes were starting to build up more and more. I do still agree with you about the Queen trying to get into that small portion of that wall in order to get into the north compartment. And it's a shame because the Stone Slammer didn't even make it towards that Inferno Tower in the end. It got taken down very, very quickly, which meant those loons took a lot more damage, which he even wanted to then finish up the rest of the left-hand side. So lots of little bits here and there were just adding up, and then it started creating a shopping list here, Judo, but it doesn't matter. manner now, as that last attack from Tompinai won't do them any favours, but it will for MCES. They've still got 2 attacks remaining, but this 3-star will give him a lot of leadway into their final attack.
Well, we talked about how good Arium is in that last matchup for MCES. He was one of the players that pulled in the 3-star for them earlier on today. This one is crucial to, like we keep mentioning, try and keep them in that top 4 spot. Taking down Tompinai would be a huge victory for them and potentially spinning things round moving into next week's matches. Now, the King has successfully taken out that right-hand side, although the air defense remaining standing is a little bit troublesome, given that he is doing a Dragon Rider attack, and the Queen is nicely dealing with the Clan Castle troops here. You can also see she's got pretty easy ride into the base here, where he's also got the jump spell.
Certainly does indeed. I'm looking forward to this next portion of the attack to see how it's all going to work out. Still got plenty of spells to use to try and utilise this on top of things, but the Queen, no, does take down that compound on the 4 o'clock side. Going to be pushing towards the southern side to take out the AD. Maybe I'll take down the Expo as well when given the opportunity, depending on prioritization though. But we'll see what happens here. Still taking a fair amount of damage, a little bit more DPS than the actual healing ability, but that's going to be stopped thanks to the fact that the Expo will get taken down. But you can see a couple of those loons from that so it's on the 8 o'clock side with the Dragon Riders, and now the Warden here looking to continue with that push towards that scatter shot, which is going to be so important. But remember though, the push towards the center is going to be even more important as long as they take out that multi-inferno, and the blimp is coming to also say hello.
Again, I just love the synchronization of the troops. The Dragon Riders taking out the defenses on the left-hand side, forced the Royal Champion into the middle to help with the multi and the Grand Warden statue. Now with the Battle Blimp reaching the Town Hall, it does look good, but the Tornado is there to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works.
Nice.
Town Hall goes down, Dragon Riders swooping around the poison, and he still has to get that single target Inferno. He doesn't necessarily have any spells for it, so it's a little bit questionable here. As long as the Queen can get through that single, he could still get this.
Yeah, the Queen was focused on the north compound, but she's now switched into the 2 o'clock compound, which is exactly what you was talking about. This is perfect coordination here with these troops, and a great way for him to recover as well. Beautiful. Not recovery in kind of that process, but the fact that the Queen was focusing on going through the northern wall, but decided to go for the northeast wall instead, thanks to the fact that it took out a lot more of those defenses on the northern side though. But still though, only the last elixir storage left. That will be cleaned up beautifully. And that is great stuff there from MCES, continuing to pile on the pressure, and now with the 1-star lead.
They also have a pretty good percentage lead, so even if they 2-starred, as long as it was a high percentage 2-star, let's try and quickly work this out. Let's see if my math is as good as you gave me credit for, because there's 15% in it, isn't there? So as long as MCES managed to get a 85% 2-star, that would keep percentage level, so 86% would give them the win, even if Tompinai 3-star.
Yeah, it's 370% versus 385 from the top of my head. So yeah, you're absolutely right there. So we're going to see how this pans out in this last attack. But yeah, Tompinai, let's be honest, they do have to 3-star this no matter what, because I can't imagine MCES choking that much of a percentile going into this. I know it's, you know, it can happen, but the occurrences is so rare, they can't really do anything about that. Tompinai, they're going to have to do some high-risk play if they're a little bit worried about coming into this matchup. They can't, you know, play this cautiously or just hope that somehow MCES fumble, because let's be honest, they're not going to fumble here.
Well, we always talk about the perfect going stars, percentage, time, but imagine if Tompinai did 3-star and then MCES got the 85%. That means it does go down to time.
Yeah, it will absolutely.
Wow. Let's find out though, as React is actually using the Hog Riders, taking inspiration from MCES and Synthé, who we have seen he's the Hog Rider specialist. Look at this though, turning buildings invisible to force the Queen down over. I wonder why exactly he chose to do that versus trying to funnel it. Either way, it's a really interesting play, and it keeps the Queen on track down to the Town Hall.
And looks like he's creating another funnel there just to push in towards that town hall once this Tesla and his AD has been cleaned up. But you can see the Loons do come in to take that out just to make sure that the Queen is funneling towards that south side. But it looks like she's out of range, so that's going to be perfectly fine here. But as I'm saying that, though, it is going towards the north side still. The Loons are actually still there trying to take down some of those Teslas. But eventually the Queen will make that switch, and it is now going towards the prioritization of the Expo, but it's also taking out the Tesla at the same time. But I suppose you could say, Judo, at least he's taking out the bulk of his defense on the northern side.
To be honest, I take it all back. That invisibility spell was fantastic because he would have had to commit quite a few troops in order to funnel that, particularly because he probably knew the Tesla were there or had a good guess they were there. So I think one spell slot in order to save that amount of funneling troops is pretty good value because his Queen charge alongside literally a couple of balloons has taken out this northern area, and that looks fantastic as he now has the Hog Riders to literally just swoop around the base. Does have the siege barracks and the wall breaker to hopefully get the King in towards that Eagle, but is it going to be quick enough to allow the Hog Riders to swoop through?
The Queen has been carrying this composition into her backpack for the majority of this game, but the Hog Riders now looking to try and split the workload, going straight into the center to take up that Inferno Tower. But you can see from the south side as well, don't forget with the Pecker as well, the King putting his ability. This is going to be a very aggressive attack in comparison, but the Queen does get taken down. The healer's trying to go towards the Wizards to find anything else there, but it's too little too late here. The King still continuing to go on the outside there, but look at this though, still the Hog Riders now going towards the center once again.
From the
does take out the Inferno
barracks.
Tower, but at what cost though? It's taken a lot of value, but this has been a good recovery with 20 seconds left remaining here, Judo.
That is why he used the siege barracks where he did. So the Hog Riders beelined to the center. I keep thinking about what Tribe Gaming are showing us with the Battle Blimp moving into the middle of the base, and I thought he might have done that, but actually here, he just had a couple of delayed Hog Riders. He's all good. He just wanted to scare us a little bit. The 3 stars for Tompinai means that MCES now cannot rely on the safe 2-star. They need an 86% 2-star to win here, or obviously the 3-star. 85 ties it up.
Just trying to give MCES a bit of false hope there. Cheeky guy, but it doesn't matter now. Because like you said, the fate is still in MCES's hand. If they get 3-star, perfect, all done and dusted, that's going to be it for them. But 2-star, half percentile, should be okay, but it all depends on the composition. What base are we going to be checking out here? What's he going to be prioritizing? Where's he going to funnel from first? There's a lot of things we're going to take into account here. There's a lot of pressure on MCES because this loss can actually be close to costing them a place in the challenge finals. So this war is going to be so important for them, as it will be the final attack of the day. It will be from Sinfei, and we're going to see what he can do to hopefully bring a victory in this war to MCES.
It's Sinfei, my friend. 38 Hog Riders. We expected nothing less. Lightning spells onto one of the scatter shot. Actually takes out that entire compartment. And again, this is one thing we talk about with entries. It's not just the value, it's creating pathing, particularly when you're using defense targeting troops. So with that entry down, he's using the blimp to get in towards the single. And this is what I love about Sinfei's attacks. Look at that one Hog Rider sneaking in to get the air defense. Whilst he takes a mass attack of Hog Riders, he's not afraid to sneakily send 1 or 2 in just to get extra value with his initial push.
Now vote that lava hand will be going up to the north side, but what's it going to do next? I'm very curious to see how he's going to plan this out with the baby dragon there just popping it in on that north side. But where's he going to go next? He's being very patient with what he plans to do here. So I'm going to see what he can do. But you can see there as well, just distraction central there on that north side. The Queen now just coming in right next to it pretty much here. The ice column coming out as well. So this is a very interesting approach here, Judo.
The Queen is going up to the top of the base, though. He does have the ice golem in front of the King, so he should still be able to get the town hall. but he didn't really want the queen up towards the top there. I think he wanted her in the bottom with the king by the town hall, probably also potentially looking towards that central multi-target inferno. Nevertheless, he will be able to get the town hall, and this is the difficulty. Look, he was planning on sending the hogs in towards the eagle, and the queen's ability is basically wasted. So while she can help with cleanup, she's not going to be able to get that major value. Town hall is down, queen is down. Early warning ability on the hogs. He could certainly still get this, as the 2-star is now secured.
It certainly is indeed. It's all about that percentage. Still a fair amount of hog riders in that pack trying to deal with that scatter shot. Beautiful stuff there, taking on that compartment. But a few of the traps that will be cleaned up. And all of these hog riders here and still pushing on forward, has to bring out some more spells. But look at that central Inferno Tower there, still doing a fair amount of damage, just trying to keep it as far back as possible. But it's still a bit of a struggle. Still got a few of those expos in that left compartment, as well as that mortar, and still the multi-inferno tower in that center is just wrecking absolute havoc. But look at these hog riders, only a few left. It's actually still going to be based on percentage here. We're getting that 3-star, but this is going to be very, very
20
close
seconds, 84%. 17 seconds. He actually funneled the bottom of the area to push the queen in. 85%. There it is, Lethal. He has got the percentage required. It might not be the 3-star, but it is going to be the percentage victory for MCES, unless my math is terrible and I've actually jinxed them even further, but I'm pretty confident I have not. Let's find out on that confirmation screen. MCES with the ever so important victory on this one, 94.